Okay, so in today's episode, this one's a little bit different. This is an excerpt from a session that I did with a client and a friend of mine, Ryan. Recently, we had planned to get together and shoot a bunch of short form content for his personal brand. And in the beginning, before we got started, he took me through his thoughts, he took me through his model, he took me through where he really wanted to take his personal brand, where he wanted to take his content, what he wanted to speak about, what he wanted to cover, who he was trying to speak to. And it was actually a really insightful and great conversation because this process of building content and building a personal brand isn't just one that you kind of wake up and you've got it all worked out. It takes a while to really dissect what the message is and what we're trying to get across as, coaches and consultants and what we help people with and whatever it is that we're trying to achieve. It takes time to get there. These first sort of 20 minutes of the session that I did with Ryan, we really dove deep and kind of brainstormed, what was it that we were trying to get out of this content and who we were speaking to. So I wanted to use this for today's episode because if you're someone who is in the process of building a personal brand or wanting to create more content, this is going to spark some really good insight and ideas into the planning and the getting into the mind of the customer or the client. This is a pretty raw, unfiltered conversation. I did have to take out a few things for, confidentiality and privacy reasons, but everything is pretty raw and we had a fun chat. And without further ado, let's get into it. If you have a passion and a message to share and a drive to help people, then this is for you. It's an open invite for creators who want to become better at sharing powerful and authentic content. So if you're here because you want to create something meaningful, something powerful, and build a brand that's grounded in your own story and your own experience, and you want to learn how to do that, then this is for you.
How can I help and serve, right? Because I don't want this to be an ego thing. I want this to be a helping people thing, okay? It's how I can do the best job and how I can help people. So I was like, how can I help and serve? And I was like, my true passion or why is perspective shift, always has been. Yeah. Probably one of my greatest strengths is sales and getting people to believe, which achieves paradigm 1 or part of the model 1. Yeah. And what I know better than most people in terms of knowledge base is finance and money. Sure. So it's the three of those, right? Yeah. And it's the integration of them. Mm-hmm. They're not standalone. They're integrated into a genius or a model, which is me. Okay. That's my education. That's my greatest strength. And that's my greatest passion. Okay. So that's a genius. Yeah. Then I was like, what outcome am I delivering? Because it's all good and well to have that. What's the outcome? And I was like, well, the outcome is the same as one-on-one, but the outcome is the whole audience. Yeah. And so I went, what my outcome is their financial belief, their financial confidence, their financial encouragement, financial excitement, financial understanding, financial progression, understanding how mindset and health affect their financial gain and how they affect each other. So ultimately what I'm doing for them through my mindset and sales is done off the back of the financial what. So then I let it simmer and I was just going to see what came up. Then I was in a meeting and Lisa actually dropped a note and it was about like sales and stuff and framing. Yeah. And she goes, you do framing and selling better than anyone I've ever come across in my
You should work at a framing.
I'm a cabinetry framer. So I was like, sweet, I'll go into cabinetry. She said, you're the king of it. You can sell anything to anyone. And I was like, that's my thing. That's my thing, right? It's not that I'm mindset guy. It's that I can sell. Sure. And I can sell financial stuff. Yeah. Simply. Yeah. That's kind of the unique sweet spot of me, of the genius, if you like. But by doing that, you have an impact on someone's mindset. So you need to understand the order of the sequence, if you like. So you can sell better than anyone, know financials better than most people. Yeah. Integrate those two, and then I can transform people's beliefs, their perceptions, their understandings, their mindset. So I don't teach mindset.
Yeah.
I sell financial.
It's a byproduct of just the way that you work.
To get the euphoric. So very fucking
because you
clear.
can't sell mindset.
Can't sell mindset. Yeah. Some people try.
Unless you
can't sell confidence, right? It's hard.
Well, yeah.
So then it kept evolving and evolving. And then this morning when you messaged about the plan, I was like, I've kind of simmered this, but I haven't sat down and structured the plan.
Yeah.
Which is good, because then a lot of intuition came through when I just sat down, because I had to do it like then.
Yeah.
So I went, cool. What is my ultimate why?
Yeah.
Which is an evolved. To shift people's minds on what is financially possible. Just came to me like that, which is a incorporation of the triangle, because I sell the financial part and the simplicity of it, and I sell it better than anyone. And through that, it shifts people's minds and the possibilities behind that. Very, very clear. In our mediums, we always need to focus on the why, the frame, and the insight, because that's the thing that moves people. Okay. In doing that, we need to always make sure it's as simple as possible. So we're distilling complexity into simplicity, which is what they want, what they're begging for, because that's what's hindering them. We use the most compelling financial strategies and make them really, really simple.
Yeah.
Every story, we focus on storytelling, like you mentioned, but not just story, also in the story, financial return, financial impact, financial money made, money saved. So it's inspiring. It's not just storytelling, but it's very logical and analytical and financially stacking up. Core areas, finance and leverage, 20%. ROI and like return on investment and property returns, etc., and opportunity, 20%. Tax reduction, maybe 20%, right? Business, 20%, just general business. And then mindset, performance, lifestyle, habits, etc., maybe 20%. Just to give it a bit of like harmony, that it's not all business and all numbers, but it's also softened with like how I accumulated the mind I've got, how I accumulated the habits I've got, what's made me so determined over life. But they don't want to get hammered with that. It's like the 80-20 model. That becomes the 20%, but you're ultimately doing the 80% that's going to shift their mindsets. Okay, so that was kind of what I came up with in terms of the doing. What's the outcome of the vision? Look, I want tens of thousands of people across the world that are receptive to the message, the inspiration, and it changes their lives. Okay, so I'm going to maybe piss a few people off. I don't really care. I just want to help people, right?
Well, that's really a good thing.
My motivations are good. My competitive edge in doing this is that you take the Ken Hondas, the Robert Kiyosakis, the barefoot investors, and you put it on steroids. Right? Yeah. It's great for simplicity, needs energy.
Of course.
Needs excitement, needs ROI, needs leverage, needs juice, right? Steroids, bro.
Steroids.
That's it. I've put it into a nice little cute document, mate, which we can make much, much prettier.
Yeah, cool.
But that's ultimately it.
Yeah, cool. So then I guess the way that we then distill this, so looking at, because a lot of this is grade high level. Grade high level gives a good indication of, core pillars, areas of discussion. I think what's probably going to happen is, or what I think your edge is going to be, is bringing that mindset and performance into the storytelling aspect. So very much like to prove the point, right?
Yep.
Because numbers, like I keep saying, the numbers are very important. The specificity is very important. But to bring the story into it, i.e. your James, like, man, the dude had the money. The money was there waiting for him. He was in his own way, right? And so for a lot of these people, they resonate with that because they're like, I'm not shy of opportunities, and I just don't have the balls to really go for it. And I think that will resonate with a lot of people, but you've got to have that story around that mindset shift so that they can make the money, right? It's the perfect blend, and you've probably got tons and tons of stories of that.
I got heaps.
You got heaps of stories of that.
The beauty is that now I have them like. I learned from James Kemp that you got to have close proximity to insight because there's energy in it. Yeah, similar to what Jared would have learned. So it's like getting that insight close. And I'm fortunate enough that because I have these conversations every day, I can tap into the energy pretty quick. Yeah, and go, yesterday this happened, bang, 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 whoosh, go. And it's kind of that's what I think we do. I'm lucky as well. I can kind of go back in time frames as well and recap pretty quickly. So
Yeah.
you're right. The only thing I suppose I need to get around as a bit of a limiting belief is a lot of these clients, there is a lot of specificity of financial information, but
Sure.
it needs to be used for the storytelling.
Privacy. Yeah.
So it's almost like using the numbers, obviously not using the names, and just trying to walk a bit of a fine line between them watching it going, he's talking about.
Sure.
So that's what we just got to
Yeah.
learn.
Yeah. And look, I mean, you're going to have people who are so fine with that. I mean, if I had a good financial story, you could fucking use me. So I think you're going to have people like, look how many of the builders are happy to go online. Like you Jake Nichols, Jack Wildmans, all those kind of guys. Maybe they're not the ones you're speaking to per se, but there's good stories in that. Your Justin's. I think if you went into detail about Justin's stuff, I think as long as it stays relatively positive or there's a positive on the end of it, I think he's okay. So I think it's just a matter of going, okay, who are the case studies? Where are these stories? Also, we could just do it and I can just edit out the details. We can just send it to them, and then if they're okay with it, and so I think we just allow it to kind of come out. Worst case, we can't use it down the track, but we iterate and we move forward.
And I think that's so. I think it's a respect thing as well. Like if I just say, "Hey, I was talking about you in here," obviously, like you said, not in negative light. No, are you okay if I use this? I just want to do the right thing, and
and dude, your own story. Yeah. Like there's so much in your own story.
Well, that's there. Yeah.
So like, before we even go there, it's like there's power in your,
and there's heaps there.
Your experience.
There's heaps of property stuff. There's heaps of finance leverage stuff. There's heaps of raw stuff. There's heaps of like tinkering on the edge. Like there is so much there personally because I've bought a shitload of property. I've almost fucked myself 100 times. I've had to wiggle and maneuver. I've seen the dividends from things. So I agree. It's like there is an abundance of this. There's a huge abundance. And I just think that we're very clear.
Yeah, and I also think probably something that you might not have seen is like, and this is through your own story, is being okay to pivot and change. And I think that's something you do really, really well. And I think through all of your experience, before I met you, but then going through the elite builder process, then into the strategic process, being okay with letting go of the leadership and bringing a CEO on board and taking that financial risk and being like, okay, I'm going to do it. Like that is a big step. It's like that's like, cause you're, I don't know where the business is at, but like you're at 7 figures. It's like that 7 to 8 figure jump that requires an entirely different mindset.
We're there now.
Yeah. And then the next is the 100. And it's just like, and that shifts again.
And I said that to you in the voice memo this morning when you asked me about the plan. I just said like this week, the curveballs have been insane, but you got to roll with it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and to that, like those, for you to come in here and go, man, this is what my weeks look like. I've had a fucking manager pull the pin last minute. I've had fucking got no sleep because old mates keeping me up. So I think that, and
it helps people, man. Like I think all of this stuff, it just helps.
And that's low hanging fruit because it's there. You're so in it.
I want it to be raw. I want it to be raw. I want it to be honest. I want it to be truthful.
Yeah.
I think that's the best thing we can do.
Yeah.
Because it goes like, yes, they get the financial strategies and all the rest of it, but they also get the without doing mindset.
Yeah.
Talking about the raw business
100%.
stuff, they get the mindset. It's very clear. There's no coaching of mindset here, right? Yeah. It's what I stand for in business and in risk and in wealth.
Yeah,
creates the mindset.
100%. And the thing is like if you grab people's attention, like I refer back to the ex-commercial guy, like the stories that he's talking about, massive credibility. And as soon as you're in his doors, As soon as you're in his doors, he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. That's why I go. That's why I would go to him. But I'm like, he's grabbed my attention. And they're killing it. They're fucking killing it.
Yeah.
Well, like I look at it from a technical standpoint. Like they're doing the conversation thing. Like they're doing it similar, different setup and whatever. But like they come in with one story, one killer story. And Alex Hormozy was speaking about it this morning. He said he went to, there's this guy called Airac who's got tens of millions of followers online. So he went to him to look at how he made content. And the Airac dude was like, show me your planning. Show me how you plan for, your podcast and your content days. And he's like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, what do you got? And he's like, I've got my notes on my phone. He pulls out a 22-page document for a 15-minute video. So he's like, he broke it down. He's like, they've got multiple team members spending like 50 to 100 hours each on the planning, the production and the editing of all this content. It takes them a month of like 10 full-time people to produce one video. And it just like shows you how much is involved in like the top of the top content. Now we're not going for that because we want to keep in that intuition, but that planning element is still so important. So Coach, so you coming in and being like, man, I got this fucking story. Just let me sit down, let me tell it. And it's like, you got the numbers, you've got where they were, you've got all the adversities, you've got all the details. This is what you helped them with. It was like that one question, that one conversation. They went and did this, and then all of a sudden they just added another 7 figures to their business. I think what might happen too, because if we speak about say someone like James, the tricky part that we're gonna come up with is obviously I know James, so you're speaking to me because I already know James, and that's how you're gonna address it. Got to find these stories that I don't know where I can really dig. We can still do James 100%.
I think I can do it disregarding you. Like I think I can. I think I sound like I'm selling myself. I think I'm good at going simple.
Yeah.
Like if I disregard you. But I agree. Ironically, I need to give you the questions for you to give me the questions so I can give you.
That's right. That's right. Which is where.
But I want to talk to you because I don't want to talk to you.
Oh, no, of course. Like it's still going to be, and that's going to allow me to dig a little bit and find the holes where you can just expand more. But yeah, if I've got the questions there, and I'm a good framer too.
You are a good framer.
And you're the boss, I'm the manager.
And you know me, but also I'm just going to go vulnerable on this. I'm not, because I do hold back. I go, oh, fuck, am I allowed to say this much? I'm just going nuts.
You have to.
You and I just have to put our critical mind to go, did I say too much? And then you can edit accordingly, right?
Yeah. Well, and that's, you know what, I don't think there's a line there. I think ultimately, like, there is so much information out there.
Just don't say names.
Of like, well, just don't say names. But even if you did, like, we bleep it out. And then if it's in real detail, it's like, this is fucking good. Don't know. Send it to the client.